A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back yet with another exciting session on management accounting insights through usage of technology initiatives, information and cyber security governance. I have pride in welcoming my brother and CFO of State Bank of India, CA, Charanjit Atra sir. I have with me the chairman of Yamunanagar branch, CA Amit Kashyap, the vice chairman, Mr. Anuj, the secretary, Mr. Sumit. I have two very learned speakers of the day, CA Premnath and CA Vijay Srinivas Kotapalli, and my younger brother and the moderator of the day, Gurvinder Singh. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an exciting day. And let me tell you, more than 2,500 people have logged in. A program which is well acclaimed across the country and people wait for it on a working day. So many people coming in and logging in speaks high about the credence of this profession. We are what this profession has made us. I am reminded of a couplet which says, वो धागा ही था जिसने छिपकर पूरा जीवन मोतियों को दे दिया. वो धागा ही था जिसने छिपकर पूरा जीवन मोतियों को दे दिया और ये मोती अपनी तारीफ पर इतराते रहे उम्र भर. We are because we have behind us a great institute which lends us credence, which was set up an act of parliament way back in 1949, even before the installation of the Constitution of India. I have a separate keynote session, so I hand over the dais to CA Gurvinder Singh, the moderator of the day, to carry forward the proceedings of the day. Yes, Mr. Singh, the dais is all yours now.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Sir, thanks for your introductory remarks and setting the tone for today's topic. Taking a leaf out of your book, sir, there is a famous quote that I would like to share. I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination. It is very important in today's environment that we chartered accountants keep upscaling ourselves to the niche skills as the world is changing rapidly. And we should keep pace with it. We are very thankful to our institution, Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, who always have thought one step ahead and have played a pivotal role in upscaling our young and senior members with the current relevant accounting and management updates. Today's topic, management accounting insights through usage of technology initiatives, information and cyber security governance would help our members gain deeper insights into the management accounting. For the deliberation on the topic today, our guests are Chairman Committee on Management Accounting, CA Charanjot Singh Nandaji, Chief Financial Officer for State Bank of India, CA Charanjit Atraji, and eminent speaker CA Premnath Degalaji and CA K. Vijay Srinivasji, who will share insights into this topic. Now, I would like to call upon Chairman of Yamunanagar branch of NIRC, CA Amit Kashyap ji, for welcome address and welcoming our panelists.
Thank you, Gurvinder ji. Very good evening to one and all present here. CA Charanjot Singh Nandaji, Central Council Member and Chairman Committee on Management Accounting. CA Charanjit Atraji, CFO SBI, and all our guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is CA Amit Kashyap, and it's my privilege and pleasure on behalf of Yamunanagar branch of NRC of ICAI to welcome you here today. First, I would like to welcome you all and thanks everyone for coming. I appreciate your efforts to be together virtually. That many of you made time to be here serves as a reminder to us all just how important our work is. I would like to take a moment to introduce our exemplary and visionary mentor, CA Charanjot Singh Nandaji, with two lines. मंजिलें पाँव पकड़ती है ठहरने के लिए, मंजिलें पाँव पकड़ती है ठहरने के लिए, तो कहता है कि दो चार कदम और सही. मैं करूँगा कि आप ऐसे ही आगे बढ़ते रहें. I would also like to welcome our speaker, CA Premnath ji, CA K. Vijay Srinivas ji. I look forward to hearing your discussion and learning from our insights. I want to say welcome again. It is wonderful to see you, so many of you here. Last but not the least. अगर आपको तेज चलना है तो अकेले चलिए, अगर आपको तेज चलना है तो अकेले चलिए, लेकिन अगर दूर तक चलना है तो साथ साथ चलिए. Let's proceed with this meeting together. Thank you. Jai Hind. Over to you, sir. Gurvinder ji.
Thank you, sir, for your welcome address. When Nandaji is around, so Shairi comes by heart automatically from all of us. Now, I would like to call upon Secretary of Yamunanagar branch of NIRC, CS Sumit Chadda ji, for introducing remarks of Chairman of Committee of Management Accounting, CS Charanjot Singh Nanda ji. Sumit ji, your voice.
You have to unmute yourself, Sumit ji. Unmute करने अपने आप को.
Am I audible, sir? Now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Good evening to all the members present here. Myself, C.S. Sumi Chadda, Secretary, Yamunanagar branch. Well, the person like Charanjot Singh Nanda does not require any kind of introduction, but still, I want to share some lines for him. Charanjot Singh Nanda is Central Council member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, as we all know. He is currently the chairman of Internal Audit Standards Board and also Committee on Management Accounting Board. He is also the vice chairman of various standing committees of the institute. He is serving the profession since 1991 and he is serving the institute also from 1998 as NIRC members or Central Council member. He was also chairman of NIRC in the year 2002-2003. Well, it's our pleasure that many of us present here sharing the same city with him and also even sharing the same college with him. And it's always been a proud feeling for the CA members of the Yamunanagar branch that the person like CA Charanjot Singh Nandaji is belong from this city. Well, for their praise, I am short of words and also I am short of time as the time allotted to me was only 1 or 2 minutes, which I think I have already utilized. So I want. So I request C.A. Guruvinder Singh ji to please take the rise.
Over to you, Nanda sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the revered chief guest speakers and my fellow chartered accountants from Yamunanagar and Delhi and all across the country, because I know there are more than 2,500 people have joined in. Ladies and gentlemen, your committee is totally geared passionately to give you the best. And today's topic has been very meticulously designed so as to ensure that you have two of the speakers who are master into banking, particularly in technology. And over and above, we have a chief guest who is none other than the Chief Financial Officer of State Bank of India, who headed ICAI Securities, a man of impeccable track record and technical knowledge. So when I have to present my keynote, I would just like to tell you that today's topic, usage of technology initiatives, information and cyber security governance. You all are aware that information and cyber security governance are responsible for maintaining and managing IT operations that support business risks and ensures that any risk associated is identified and resolved with no or minimal damages caused, and the activities comply to the laws and regulations impacting the system, and also the resources and data are used and handled securely. More importantly, we chartered accountants who do this have to have the resonance to put across the things in such a fashion that they are assimilated in the same way in which they are communicated. Now, you are aware that technology strategies that execute information and cyber governance effectively have to be well laid down. I would start discussing and defining those. The first, the strategies which are required are to understand where valuable yet unsecured data resides. Instead of spending sleepless nights, it is important that you have with you the basic contention of where your data resides. It is very valuable yet insecure. So you have to make them so secure that no unsolicited person is able to take a call on them. He is able to take, because in today's time, the only money, the only value is data. Other than data, you have nothing else. So if it falls in the hands of competitor or it falls in the hands of unscrupulous elements, it may result in a great loss to the organization. Eliminate content with no business value is the second strategy. You see, there are so many data, so cleaning of data, keeping data collected at one place so that whenever you need, you could go and refer that, which is very, very important. You call it a good records management or targeted cleanup process, which will help you move in this account. Third, improve processes to eliminate risky behavior. Very, very important. Certain risky behaviors, certain times, small mistakes or small overlooking results in big losses. Information and security management investigate work to see if it was a one-time event or if it is having regularly as a part of process, and the control environment has to be made strong. The control environment has to be made so, you can say, well guarded that nobody could step in and misuse it. Very, very important. The next is focus on searching efforts. Searching of data is again a big problem. So using a targeted tool to find private data much faster than traditional indexing tools, because if it has certain key points that whenever you need a data, the data is before you for your management information or other purposes. And management accounting is essentially a management function wherein you support the management, the board or the audit committee where the need may be. So data has to be handy, it has to be secure, and it has not to be used by people who are not authorized to use it. Going ahead, information and cyber security governance works in harmony. Very, very important. Information and secured information is important. Now, data continues to grow exponentially, and it's impossible to protect it all on an equal or equitable basis. So, information governance knows what information an organization has, and it can identify what's important and what's not important. So ABC analysis, the most important, which enables prioritization, which cybersecurity needs, ultimately suffices the interest of the business, the philosophy, the vision of the business that has to be preserved at a larger level. Second, in addition to knowing what data an organization has, information governance will also know where the data is secured, where it is stored. Cybersecurity covers so many capabilities: data loss prevention, vulnerability management, network security, and many more. So relying on the information governance experts to understand where the data is will make it easier to assess risk and eliminate threats, thereby giving the board total freedom and independence to pursue the base work, which is essentially the eliminating redundant, obsolete, and trivial content, evaluating threats, advocating training and awareness. So much of what information governance does aligns closely with cyber security process. And at the end, I want to just tell you that data can at once be a vital asset and massive vulnerability. Developing a true partnership between information and cyber security governance functions ensures that the data is managed and protected through its life cycle. This enables valuable business insights and keeps the cost low, because otherwise recovering data and ensuring that it does not fall in unsolicited hand is something which may create problems. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great practice area for chartered accountants. It is an upcoming area because I want to tell you that your institute is an integral part of IFAC, International Federation of Accountants, with close to 150 countries being the constituent partners. And let me say with pride that your institute on 30th March 2020, more than 1.25 years before, they came with guidance on remote audit. The first in the world was your institute, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I want to tell you very clearly, the institute has a humble thought process. Chartered accountants all are very humbly placed because they know a man who carries knowledge has to be humble. And I have reminded a very good couplet on this, which says, ये वक्त की गरिमा है, ये वक्तित्व की गरिमा है कि फूल कुछ नहीं कहते. Your personality is such that flowers say nothing. ये व्यक्तित्व की गरिमा है कि फूल कुछ नहीं कहते, वरना कभी कांटों को मसल कर दिखाइए. When you crush a flower, it gives fragrance. If you try to crush the thorns, your hand will be wounded. So we are a class apart. We are those who want to serve not only the clients or to the stakeholders, but to the regulators, government, and all concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, moving ahead, we all have to take a pledge that this institute has to reach to unprecedented heights, and all of us have to become the brand ambassadors of this great profession. I will not stand between you and Mr. Atra and the two speakers, Mr. Premnath and Mr. Kotapalli. It's a great privilege and honor to listen to them. So, not taking much of your time, I want to thank you all for coming here. And I want to tell you that the next session, 2 hours, will be very exciting. You'll be able to see great inputs and you will be able to resonate those thoughts to people all across you. Over to Mr. Gurvinder Singh for his further proceedings. Mr. Gurvinder Singh, the dice is all yours now.
Thank you, sir, for your keynote address, and it's always a pleasure hearing the insights of the topic from you. As you rightly focused, that there is a continuous need to enhance the controls around secure technology for management accounting. I would like to state that as it is being rightly termed nowadays, that data is the new oil. And just like oil, data is useful, but if it remains unrefined, it cannot be used. And that's where technology plays a very important role in analyzing the data. But at the same time, all the business and operational risk needs to be mitigated. That's why cybersecurity plays a pivotal role in this. With these days, we're hearing loss of data and thefts in the data, rising cyber crimes. It is very important to protect the data. To continue this discussion forward, I would again call upon CA Sumit Chadda ji for introducing Chief Financial Officer of State Bank of India, CA Charanjit Atra ji, for his special address. Over to you, CA Sumit Chadda ji.
Thank you, Gurinder ji. CA Charanjit Atra ji is a chartered accountant and CPA from the US specializing in financial services. He is presently CFO at State Bank of India, the largest bank of India. He has worked on IFRS Indian AS conversations for banks, insurance companies, and other financial institutions in India. He has been nominated on various committees of the ICAI as well as Reserve Bank of India. He was a special invitee on the National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards set up by MC. He has worked with ICICI Bank Group for more than 12 years in the areas of investment banking, as well as finance, as well as commercial and retail banking, and also financial accounting and operations. He has received the Best CFO Award for 4 years by the CFO Institute. He has also been awarded by the ICAI for contribution in the finance field. He has been a speaker on various forums on finance-related topics. I request CA Charanjit Atra ji to please address the participants. Over to you, Atra ji.
Thank you, Sumit ji. Thank you to my very, very good and old friend, Mr. Charanjit Singh Nanda. We also have a similar name as of now, and actually he has taken off the thunder of whatever I wanted to say, and spoken what was rightfully very well related to today's topic. I would like to first of all, wish a very, very good evening to you. I know, in these times when, we are all in some way or the other stuck with the pandemic and the worst pandemic ever. I sincerely hope that you all do good and all are safe. Please stay safe and, take good care of yourselves. I'm really thankful to Mr. Nanda and other dignitaries of the ICI who has given me this opportunity to speak to such a wide audience. I think I've spoken on various forums where Mr. Nanda was present and on ICI, but those days were different, and I'm really hoping that those days are back where we could personally meet, because the benefit of meeting people and personal interaction is far more than doing an online presentation. But I think even online today, as Mr. Ananda said, we are doing remote audits and technology is helping us in all of that, and this has become the new normal, and we need to adopt to this new normal very, very soon. I would like to start with saying, what does management accounting include? And, though you all will be working on different types of accounting, and, how does financial accounting get linked to management accounting in the first place? I will come to technology a little bit later. But first, to understand what involves management accounting and how is it fast changing for us to keep in line with what developments are happening in technology, to know what's happening across the globe, to know what will be required of us as accountants going forward. So to come to the point of what does management accounting include? In my career spanning over 25 years today in the accounting area, and I have been, been a very, very passionate accountant over the last 25 years or so. I don't even know when did I qualify. Somebody does ask me what was the year. I have to look back to my uh, membership certificate to figure out. And I'm sure Mr. Nanda also shares the same this thing. So there are literally four pillars of accounting in an organization, and that is what a management accountant is expected to do. Management accounting is involved in planning and decision making. That is one of the areas. Strategic cost management. The third area is the performance management. That is once everything happens and how the performance of the company is it, analyzing it, talking to the stakeholders, so forth and so on. To complete all these three, what is the pillar behind this is the preparation of financial statements. And as we are seeing, we are observing with new accounting standards coming in, financial accounting and management accounting are expected to converge. And in my view, that day is not long when you would have a lot of management accounting details being reported in financial account. We are seeing some of them when we are converting ourselves or going to India stroke IFRS, whatever we call it as. But I think the days are not far when most of the management accounting numbers or the information will be required to report in your financial report. So it's very, very important that today, in some organizations I see, or even some people when I talk to them, I get a feeling people feel that financial accounting is different from management accounting. I think it's not that different. It has to be one. And for that, and what is required is data. Data is so critical now, whether it is management reporting or financial reporting, you need to have good, clean, secure data. So the financial reporting, we are moving from the concept, or we are moving to the concept of relevance as compared to the relevant concept of prudence. Prudence is still there, but more and more relevance is coming in, and that requires a lot of data. Also, in the past 10 years or so, given the growth that we have had as a country, the sizes of businesses have gone up. And the question of, I remember when I started my articleship, all chartered accountants were known to, be going to office with a calculator in their hand. Now that calculators have gone off. There is nothing like a calculator. There is technology which has come in, and this technology is helping us to meet the requirements of data. As Mr. Gurvinder Singh said, data is like oil. But if the oil is not refined, or it is not treated properly, it is not analyzed properly, it is just useless. It is just a waste sheet of paper. How do you make this data talk to you? There are things like business analytics coming in. There is a lot of analytics which are happening. If you look like in the retail companies like Google, Facebook, looking a lot of data for doing businesses, for doing sales, doing marketing, even for accountants, that data is critical. Today, for larger companies, when you're preparing accounts or preparing management accounts for large companies, it is simply not possible with good technology and data management systems. Today, to analyze data meaningfully, one needs technology. And once technology comes in, you need to secure that technology. You would have heard in the past or in the recent past that there have been various cyber attacks on various data companies. And because of that, many data leaks happen. Now, that is what is the, really the importance of data. In any organization, when we talk about data, it's available everywhere. But how do you, get that data and get it into a form where you can really make good analysis of that? You would have heard words like blockchain, Tableau, Python, Anaconda, these programs which are there, which help you analyze this data. A thing like Tableau, where you can, make your own dashboard, drag and drop things, and prepare your own data to analyze, is very critical. Today, we are talking about digitization. Digitization is nothing but getting all these things together. Now, really, the question which some people really are worried about. What is the sort of investing in various softwares is less, because this technology is going to help you to create data, to report proper numbers, to give your stakeholders a view that whatever is happening is correct. And even for the auditors as a profession, it will be very important to understand some of these so that meaningful audits can be done from a perspective of accuracy of numbers. So, as Mr. Nanda said earlier, data has to be organized and be used in a very proper way. Otherwise, this all data will just go waste. I can tell you by sheer experience in working with my earlier companies. As things went increased, the data kept on increasing, and then there was a time when we went into automation and got into various things. And today, let me tell you, a large part of a large number of people recruited for doing data analysis and analytics throughout. So, look at this place. Your management accounting functions are increasing and getting more demanding. Financial accounting and management accounting are expected to converge. The firms, the sizes of the business is increasing, so more and more data across. And data, you would have looked at something like blockchain. Blockchain is something which is happening, which is a thing of the future, and I believe that would also help sort of doing businesses together. This is one of the most secure form of technology today, as of today. But I believe there would be more and more developments happening. But as of today, I personally, the sort of softwares or technology I've seen, blockchain is one of the safest technologies to be used. And as chartered accountants, when I'm speaking to the youngsters coming in, they normally feel that are we going to lose jobs? There have been surveys which has said a lot of jobs will be lost because of technology. But there is an Oxford study which said that history has proved whenever there have been technology developments, there have been new jobs created. There has been new opportunities which are available. We should look at that opportunity, and we should ourselves, in my view, sort of get and start understanding technology. You may not be programmers. Don't get into a thing where you said you're going to sort of type and write programs or write, SQLs or whatever. But you need to understand technology for you to use it. For example, nobody in this world teaches or has taught you how to use your mobile phone, whether it is an iPhone or whether it is any other phone, right? But you guys have learned to use it. And nobody taught anybody what WhatsApp is, right? But we all know how to use WhatsApp. And how did that happen? Because we had an open mind. We wanted to use it. We knew it was beneficial to us. So this 3-4 software, or you can do some more and figure out all the software that I'm talking about on technology, whether it's blockchain, Tableau, or Python, or Anaconda, are going to be the future. And we should try to have towards them with an open mind, understand them, and use them to the best of our abilities while doing our normal work, whether we are working as accountants or whether we are working as auditors. The other part is very critical when we are talking about data and technology is one small error can cost you a lot. Because technology, it's repetitive, it's not like a manual error which you can correct. So, that's why your data governance, your information cybersecurity governance is very important. It not only depends upon how do you sort of store the data, how do you control the data, what are the controls in place, what are the control plays on the SQLs that you're writing, and all those stuff. It's very critical on how the information technology framework and the cybersecurity governance framework works in an organization. So with every new invention, you get to a new risk. And right now, data breaches, data violation, data security has become big concerns, and we should work towards that as all. I don't want to steal the thunder, which are going to come and speak to in detail about how technology is going to impact management accounting, what all needs to done from a technology perspective. As I've already said, management accounting is all about planning, decision making, strategic cost management, performance management, and for all this preparation of financial statements. And remember my words, the time is not far enough when your financial accounting and management accounting are going to be, converging in the future. So with that, I would thank you all and wish you all very best and take care. And I would like to hand it over to Gurvinder Singh to take it forward from here. Thank you, Nanda Sahab and Gurvinder Singh. Hope,
Thank you.
and
Thank you, Atra Sahab, for your scintillating and mind-boggling presentation. Really great, commendable. Great, sir. Over to Gurvinderji.
thank you, sir.
Thank you, Charanjit ji, for the special address. It's really an eye-opener for all of us. As Sir has rightly said, that data security is a key risk which should be taken care of. And as we are moving towards the automation, the focus is towards the data analytics, and there would be more and more risk that as a professional we need to mitigate and build or develop controls around it. And as he rightly said that, as we are going into this unexplored world, new unexplored world, wherein due to automation, a lot of bots will take over. There would be a lot of opportunities for our professionals, which we should gear up to and take it as a challenge in the upcoming near future. I would again thank you, sir, for taking out your precious time and sharing the insights with our fraternity. Now, for deliberation on the topic, I would like to call upon our eminent speakers, Sri Premnath Digalaji and Sri K. Vijaya Srinivasan. Is a practicing chartered accountant and also a qualified diploma in information systems audit and forensic accounting and fraud detection. He has been a regular speaker in training programs, seminars, conferences at ICAI, and he is a regular visiting faculty in Income Tax Department, Staff College, Hyderabad, GST Central and State Government, Hyderabad, National Institute of Rural Development, Central Vigilance Officers on Digital Forensics, and Andhra Bank, Indian Bank Staff Training Institutes. Alongside Digalaji, our other panelist tonight is Sri K. Vijaya Srinivasan, who is also a practicing chartered accountant for more than 18 years of experience. And he is also an insolvency professional, certified information systems auditor, certified fraud examiner. He holds the certifications around anti-money laundering, diploma in information systems audit, forensic accounting and fraud detection, concurrent audit, Ind AS and indirect taxation, certification in cybersecurity. He has been conducting various guest lectures and workshops on the banking frauds and excel as audit tool data analytics for banking and inspection departments, GST departments, and income tax departments. He has been a regular faculty at ICAI in advanced Excel courses. As I call upon to join our panelists, I would like to thank our audience who have joined in a great number, and would request the audience, in case you want any questions from our panelists, you may mention them in the comment box. I will try to take each one of your questions at the end of the session, depending upon the time. Over to the panelists, Sri Digalaji and Vijay Srinivasan.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gurvinder. Thank you. Sir Bhishma Pitamaha, Sri Charanjit Singh Nanda sir. By age looks like old, but by mind, attitude, energies, he is younger than anyone in the ICAI database. He is so energetic at any point of time and is one of the great pillars of ICAI, who works always and always for the quality. His words are enough to demonstrate his quality. And because of him, as I was working in internal standard boards, he has conducted n number of certification courses on concurrent audit, mind-boggling. During the pandemic time, he has conducted more than 30 or 40 sessions covering nearly more than 10,000 chartered accountants, yes, in a very short time using the technology. That's the greatness of sir. I'm privileged to make this presentation under your guidance, sir. And Charanjit sir of SBI, sir, we are privileged to present before you. It's our because of Nandaji, we are able to see you and interact. Otherwise, it's not possible in our life. And then other Yamuna Nagar branch committee members, thank you very much for inviting us here. Myself and Vijay Srinivas, both of us will present simultaneously this session. Sometimes I speak, sometimes Vijay sir will speak, because the topic here, the SBI sir, CA Charanjit sir, has talked about the accounting, financial accounting and management point of view. Charanjit Singh Nanda sir talked about the technology point of view. Now we would like to talk about the governance point of view, which is taking huge time now, and so much of responsibilities is cast on everyone who is holding the data. I'll just present those two enactments of Information Technology Act and bind by the rules, which says any person having a confidential data, they have listed some, I'll just show that, needs to maintain their database and their systems as per the ISO certifications. And it is a fantastic opportunity. You will appreciate now that those who are having confidential data, be it an individual, be it a proprietor, HUF or corporate or firm, they need to get their systems audited. I don't know, this is unexploited by the ICAI. We have to see how it. I'll just demonstrate that relevant provisions of it. And we are also going to talk about the other side of the coin, that is from the management point of view, where our friends, chartered accountants who are on the board or who are on the CFO, CEO levels, it is the board of directors responsibility statement 134.5 blankly it says we have complied with all the regulations, and you will be surprised to see if you go to the Ministry of Information Technology site, a full page of guidelines have been made for various compliances that needs to be done. I am surprised. I am worried how many of the companies that today are following, having board of directors saying that yes, we have complied with. We'll see. We will be covering all those issues now. So I request Vijay Srinivas to kindly share our presentation, and then. Sir, you are muted, Vijay Srinivas. Sir, you are muted.
Sorry, thanks. This is what the glitches which we are still yet to come out. Thanks for highlighting that, sir. Before I present, let me thank Charanjit Singh Nanda sir for giving this a beautiful opportunity to present such a large audience. And the one subject which is very much in demand, in fact, it just started its journey. We are going to see many more such related topics what we probably the board might come up with. And also thank Yamuna Nagar branch committee for taking up this subject in the right time. And thank you, sir. Thank you, Gurvinder sir, for beautifully quoting. And in fact, our presentation starts with the tagline what you have mentioned, that is data is oil and oil is data. Okay, so I think somewhere probably I thought probably you hacked into my system and you got the tagline kind of. And certain quotes what Charanjit Singh Nanda sir also quoted more or less have rolled into our presentation. So good that we are all are in same sync. Okay, so let me start presenting my screen.
Yes, sir. Rightly said, Govinder Singh. I think we are our minds are matching, and then you have hacked into my mind, not into the system. So birds of same feather flock together. You have proved it. So it is the data is new oil. That's what Mukesh Ambani, leading businessman, has said. So let's see. Any technology is leading towards digitization today. So technology cannot run without 0 and 1. So you talk any technology, it is only 0 and 1. And anything, now this 0 and 1 binary thing is moving an aircraft, is placing 104 satellites through one rocket. And in Hyderabad, metro rails are planned to run without a driver, meaning 0 and 1 is going to run. And you have seen in Kerala hospitals during the COVID time, robots are serving, meaning again 0 and 1 is running the show. Not only that, the robots and artificial intelligence, be that the blockchain, all those things are something different. But machines, today machines are running because of 0 and 1 digitization, meaning a lot of data is created. And all the technology today is towards this 0 and 1 only. And wherever new technology is coming out, we have said here, if we have seen, we are all aware that there is an exponential growth in risk proportion to the information technology. Say suppose today information technology growth is 1, immediately the risk growth rate of risk is 5. And every time 1 growth in technology is leading to 5 exponential growth of risk. And every risk is leading to loss of financial investment and whatnot. We'll cover all those. Then investment in securing the assets from IT risks is inversely proportional. That's a very dangerous thing again. I'm spending too much of money on technology, but to protect those technologies, I don't run. Say I buy a very costly cell phone, but if someone says you have to have a software to control the antivirus, I say, is there any free one? Free version is available. And sorry to say that some chartered accountant firms have good systems, but when it comes to the antivirus software, they say, why should we invest this? And we have seen many chartered accountant firms, a real version, paid version of softwares are not working. They're under huge risk. We'll cover those issues, meaning that I want new technologies. I am ready to face any kind of risk. And I will invest in the new technologies, but I don't want to invest in protecting those. Under such situations, governance prevails. And let us see those governance. And that's what our Charanjit Singh Atrasar was mentioning about management. So the management accounting is a process of identifying, analyzing, interpreting, and communicating information to managers to achieve the business goals. So what is the business goal here? So for us, the business goal is to secure the business assets, including the data. Data is a business asset now. Now we need to secure that from various ever-increasing threats. And let us understand, as I've said, that identifying process. Identifying is let's create awareness. As a part of management accounting, we need to create awareness. We have to interpret through learning, and we have to communicate the preparedness. And that's what the goal of achieving this. And hence, today, the ICAI, as Sir kindly roll over the slide. And hence today, the topic is management accounting using technology initiatives for information and cyber security governance. I thank Management Accounting Committee for selecting this at most appropriate time. Sir, let's move on, sir. Yeah. So I think before moving into, I would request the participants to kindly be more responsive to our questions here so that we'll have more live interactive sessions, because governance and IT sometimes may not gel into, and then we wanted to make it as an interactive. And you have to visit to this menti.com. You will find a question there. Kindly visit menti.com. Kindly visit menti.com and enter the code 89495525, so that you will get a question there. You kindly answer that question so that we can see the responses, and then accordingly we'll move forward. I request the members to kindly log into menti.com, 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 and enter the code 89495525. The question here is, everyone can start. We'll get the live responses here. That is, the question is, who is responsible for IT and cyber security governance? Is it the Chief Information Security Officer, if at all there, or is it the Certified Information Systems Auditor in the system in the company, or is it the Director Information Technology or Board of Directors? So I request everyone to kindly feed your answers on menti.com, menti.com. Enter code 89495525. Yes, sir.
Screen is not visible.
Yeah.
Just if the screen could be made visible, so it is easier for our audience
Yes.
to log
Sir,
into that website.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Who is responsible for IT or cyber security governance? Well, after your response, I'll take you to the relevant laws, the Information Technology Act. I'll take you to the information technology rules. Let us take 30 seconds of time for your response, please. There is good amount of responsibility put on the shoulders of the owners of corporate body corporate. That's what is defined in Information Technology Act, Section 43A. Section 43A is put on a big responsibility on the shoulders of the owners of corporate body. As per the definition of corporate body, it is even a corporate, including corporate, a private limited, or a firm, or a proprietor, or association is all covered into it, whether they are doing business, or whether they are into professional activities. So once you are done with menti.com, enter code 498949. Yeah.
I'll be present, sir, once take 5 seconds, and I'll present what is the result so that they can view live the kind of replies, which itself speaks why this present seminar is required at this point of time. The results will itself speak. So let me just share the display of the results. Just a second. So is it visible, sir?
Yeah, visible.
So as you can see, we are having 24 people mentioned it as CISO. And of course, now maybe board of directors is slightly increasing out of 90. It's like 50% speaking in terms of board of directors, and the rest of all. Of course, now I think after display, seeing the majority, there is a change in the opinion. But otherwise, as you can see, there are difference of opinion. I mean, you can easily find out why it is that these sessions are required. And probably we'll, once we stop sharing, Premnath sir will speak out what is that actually required, whether CISO or CISA or a director IT or the entire board of directors are responsible for cyber security or IT governance. So let me stop sharing so that we can proceed. And I'll start presenting.
Yeah. Good that responses are increasing. Thank you very much for your reply. This really motivates us to go forward. And you have many more questions to follow to make it more interactive. Yeah, I'll share the relevant act.
You want me to stop sharing, sir?
Yeah. I think I'm able to share the PDF.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm able. Yes. So this is the relevant rule. This is the relevant rule act, which is talking about. This is the section rules, which is talking about the governance issue, the responsibility of any person who is dealing with the data. So let us see that. I'll not read out all this. The data meaning is given in section 2 of information technology. Information, it covers what not. It covers all that we are dealing as a financial accountant, be it in a company or be it in the profession. So it is saying if anyone is having this sensitive information, I think we deal with this day in and day out. We are dealing with this day in and day out as a chartered accountant. Now it talks about financial information such as bank account. No chartered accountant who doesn't deal with this, who doesn't deal with these passwords. In a funny way, I say most of our clients' passwords are with us only, be it digital signature or whatever it is. Physical, psychological, mental health conditions, sexual orientation, medical records and history, biometric information, yes. And in the corporates, you have all this information. And any details relating to the above clauses provided to a body corporate for providing services. Like say banks ask for KYC and all. And the certain hotels ask for KYC and all. And these are all the sensitive information. Now this sensitive information, what is it saying is, it is talking about body corporate to provide policy for privacy and disclosure information. Now, how many firms or corporates have a policy for privacy of this? And they say this has to be disclosed on their websites. And this is what I'm saying. This is not followed at all. And you have just now seen many of the members, 60-70% of the members have rightly said it is the board of directors' responsibility. And I quote the corporate section, company law section 135(4), director's responsibility statement. The last point, it says the company has complied with all the rules and regulations applicable. And this is one such rule or law which is applicable, which is not that much practiced. If so, why there are so many hackings going on and why the confidential loss of data is going on? In big corporates, in big companies like Mumbai, you might have seen a Mumbai blackout which is sponsored by the Chinese hackers. And they could able to go to that. That's what I'm saying. It is only the 0 and 1 which made a blackout. And the same one was tried in Hyderabad Transco during February month. And the Transco could able to prevent hackers hacking through that 0 and 1. And they have, with the same 0 and 1, they could able to prevent with very good firewalls in place. How much of our members are having this compliance in their offices? And this is what you have, whole lot of compliances. It says here, collection of informations, not a sensitive, you should not collect it. And it says while collecting information directly from a concerned, the body corporate or any person or behalf shall take steps as or in circumstance reasonable that the fact of information is being collected. Like if you would have seen the Zoom, when it says record, and then if I am participating in Zoom, it will ask me a question, do you permit this recording? Meaning, it is a physical, my personal information is tracked into the Zoom. When someone is recording my presentation there and it is asking me whether do you want to record this? And you can try to copy the chart of Zoom, then it doesn't allow you to copy the chart. The reason is these are all the provisions. Now I say, how much of our, be it chartered accountant practice, be it chartered accountant practice or in the employment, how much of these are in compliance? And when we go to the last of the slide where the penalties are in multiples in terms of 2 lakhs, 5 lakhs and so on. And you would like to see who is a body corporate, and you can just see here. The body corporate means company and includes a firm, sole proprietor, other association of individuals engaged in commercial or professional activities. Now, everyone is going to fall into it considering this sensitive information. And this is what the importance of governance related issues. I now stop it and then we'll go on to the regular PowerPoint presentation. So Vijay sir, you may kindly share the PowerPoint, please. Yeah. So now let's move into the objectives. We have, in the earlier slide, we have talked about three issues like awareness, learning, and preparedness are the main objectives of not only today's session, but the objectives of business goal of any organization today to protect their data, which is oil today. So we'll take three of it. Mind it, I keep bothering you by repeating awareness, learning, preparedness. Like the government of India, and during the last year, anytime you try to ring up to them, there was a long introduction to that. You follow protocols of preventive. Did you wash your hands? Did you do that? Like that, every phone call was irritating us. But in the same way, for the next 1 hour of time, I'll be irritating you with these words like awareness, learning, preparedness, and this should be the mantra for proper governance. So let's look at the first objective, awareness. As an awareness, I need to understand what are all the IT risks and cyber security risks are there. Types of IT and cyber security risks. Is there an indicator to the risk so that I am prepared very well? And what are the impacts of those risks? And what are the regulatory governance? We have just seen only one part of the regulatory governance, and there are so many. SEBI has big guidances. RBI, mind-boggling. They have pages and pages of circulars on those things. And our ICAI also through the guidance note with read with internal financial control. They have ITGS controls and all. So many things are there which we need to comply with. And there are so much of surveys conducted on facts and figures and predictions. Considering these things, we need to have sufficient awareness so that we can learn how failures can happen. Now we have certain case studies as a second learning. Let us see certain case studies. We'll see case studies. Someone may say information technology, cyber securities and all. Generally, our mind goes to the bank and we stop at bank only. We don't think that these security failures can happen not only to the banking but anywhere it can happen. Let us see major failures industry wise. To that, can we, like, Sir Charanjit Atar sir was also talking about how much of invest are we making in the information technology assets and all. So let us see company wise how much they are investing, how much they are spending on protecting, whether they are sufficient or not. Let us try to understand through the second objective. Next, most common cyber security mistakes that we make. We'll have a learning with that. And when we say regulatory, when it says you have to do it, if I don't do it, there are so many penalties for non-compliances. And are we talking about as a part of audit, an auditor has to read SA 720 talks about you have to read the annual report. And the annual report must and should necessarily have on these things because of SEBI also talking about risk governance, wherein cyber security for the top 1,000 corporates, listed corporates is a must. Not only that, even 134.5, what I have said, every company needs to talk about cyber security because we have seen that rule now, 2011 rules. So whether corporates are talking anything about it, and if they are talking anything in the annual report, I as an auditor, am I talking about any contingent liabilities into these issues? These are certain learnings, let us see. And how far are we prepared? The importance of cybersecurity policy, defining the cybersecurity policy outlines, and guidance to the employees, developing cybersecurity policy. This is the biggest professional opportunities to the chartered accountant. If a policy drafting, any policy drafting, yes, technically they will do it, but it will come and stop at the chartered accountant for operationalizing it. And then cybersecurity policies, updating it, audit and review. The moment you talk about policies, we need to understand one and only one thing. Objectives gives birth to policies. Policies gives birth to standard operating procedures. These standard operating procedures are always in the form of rules, methods, and standards. Now, if I say there is an objective, there needs to be a policy. If I say there is a policy, there needs to be a standard operating procedure, meaning there should be a method, there should be a calculation, there should be a procedure, there should be a process. And we have seen many annual report, they simply cut, copy, paste that they have policies. But as an auditor, as an SS 720, am I going back and asking them, you say policy is there. Is there a procedure, method, rule? Now, these are all the things that we need to talk. Last part of that, we'll try to cover those. Even if the time doesn't permit it, we'll share this presentation to you. Yes, sir. Kindly move on to the next one. Yeah, so objectives, we have already mentioned it. Risk in the information technology and cyber security, that is an awareness we need to have. And the conditions that are prevailing which encourage risks. So I need to know that what are all the conditions that are prevailing in and around where the data is processed, which is encouraging non-compliances. I need to see that and plug out. And those plug out is preventive steps to mitigate those risks. Those are all the preparedness. This is what is the objective. Let's move on. Yes, sir. Yeah. So as a first objective, I said IT risk and management. Now, three important things in IT risk management and cyber security risk management we need to understand. IT risk management, it is all related to the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the data. If someone is if there are any risks associated with confidentiality, risks associated with integrity, risks associated with availability are all categorized as IT risk management, which is a subset of operational risks. Then confidentiality is something related to if something is breached, if the KYCs are taken away. And I've given certain cases here. When we come back to that cases, we'll dwell more elaborately on integrity and so on. Then the cyber security management is a subset of IT risk, which is a part of IT risk management, which talks about the IT assets. The IT assets are network, computers, programs, data, which is attacked and where there is a physical damage and unauthorized accesses. So these two things are we are going to talk about in the coming slides. So in both circumstances, it is important to understand what data, if accessed without authorization, is most damaging. So most critical. This is what our Chiranjit Atar sir was also talking about, availability and integrity. We need to protect through the IT security policy and guidelines. So damages to the organization. So security framework can be established with proper controls in place to prevent the unauthorized accesses through a medium of network and computers and frameworks and all. Yeah. Next, sir. Next. Yeah. So let us try to understand what can go wrong. So the types of IT and security risks, what can go wrong is, you have a full list here. The general IT threats, I think Vijay sir can give some passing examples to this, so that I just join again. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. So as Premnath sir was mentioning, why it is needed at this point of time, I would probably share one interesting survey, why this particular aspect has not been considered by many of the management, whether it is CFOs or CEOs. Because when it comes to technology, the guy who is doing evaluation of these things, he would have valued following some scientific method and considering the data and all. So once he presents those to the board, there is a gap or communication gap because of the technological terms or because of the kind of interpretation what they have done while valuing those. So that's the reason these particular sessions what we are conducting, it's a requirement to just bridge that gap so that you smoothly understand what is the risk, what kind of risk a organization might face, and valuation and all we can take up. But once you can educate the management, these are the risks, which is very much common. And it's happening while we speak now. There's so many things happening around when it comes to these kind of things. And these are the regular threats, what we call general IT threats or general cyber threats, which probably you would be getting some other shares through WhatsApp, Telegram, or mails saying, no, this is what happened. There is a failure in terms of power surge, or there is a manual error, which is still there are many analyses have spoken. Even if I speak about hacking or probably a loss of data from Facebook or from Indian Airlines and all. These are all not about hacking directly the servers, which is very much protected. It's very difficult to hack for your kind of information. If it would have been easy, things would have been completely different. It's only for the negligence, because the person who is protecting that passwords or protecting that data, he may not be so cautious while hiding or probably protecting those kind of access credentials and all. So that's the main reason for this thing. Even if you take up phishing, I've come across a couple of discussions now and then. In fact, not to quote any name, but just 10 days back, there was a chartered accountant who unfortunately clicked up on one particular link relating to Amazon, and he lost 2 lakh of rupees. And we being professionals, if we can do, you can think of those people who doesn't have much awareness. Okay, these are the things which doesn't require any technical knowledge. It just requires a little bit of awareness kind of thing. Okay, so we have listed down those general IT threats, and one which is coming into cyber threats is more of technical knowledge. Okay, the hacking, the ransomware, they became a regular thing. In fact, a couple of instances in a neighboring within Hyderabad city, where they have demanded a ransomware from an entity which is having only 15 employees and which hardly has a turnover of 5 crores. Secondary, that they have done somewhere it has to be muted, sir. Somewhere disturbance is coming. Okay, so when it comes to these things, it has become a regular thing. I mean, I was saying about an entity which is just 15 employees with a turnover of 5 crores. That particular entity has been hacked and demanded ransomware. It's secondary that their what data is not so worth, or they have just ignored the systems and all. Okay, they've gone for formatting or whatever. So these things are happening. And just to mention, as initially we spoke about investing in the information technology and protecting, this is altogether a complete kind of setup. As we speak about startups, people come out with an idea saying that I want to see what's the better way, what kind of industry I should be setting up. As we speak, there are entrepreneurs who are investing in a company which handles the hacking as activity. So someone has to mute, sir. There is a disturbance coming. So this is what I'm saying. That's the competition what we are facing from the other side. There is a training happening. You can see platforms like Coursera. They're offering free courses without any payment. How to hack? You come to Hyderabad, probably paying 15 to learn how to hack by paying 15.
I think please mute your audio, please.
Premna sir, please mute yourself. Yeah, thank you. So this is what I'm saying. I mean, the availability is so. Caution is not being exercised by the person who is investing in actual technology. So it's the other way, going in another way. Okay. Now moving further, what exactly are the indicators of risk? So we have just classified. We've tried to make some fancy taglines like say what can go wrong, when can go wrong, kind of thing. So that okay. Now these are the opportunities which are ample. We have kept these opportunities open for the people to act. One of those is ease of access. Why it is ease of access? You speak about entities organizing, sponsoring. You are coming across situations where countries are sponsoring these kind of activity to hack a leading company in a country, to probably just to disrupt the activities, to probably control the economy, to probably create damage to the economy. So it's no more like, no, I want to make something out of it. It's not just about making money out of it. It's just they want to create some disruption, could be anything. Or for that matter, you would have come across where hacking has happened in a pharmaceutical which was manufacturing COVID vaccine. Is it not? So these are the things which is not about ransom or not about money. Okay, so that is where it becomes so important for us to draft a proper policy and go for proper procedures. Okay, I've just listed down what are the ways availability of low cost technology. You might say, you speak about skimming. Okay, you just hold your purse, maybe 10 meters to me. I can easily scan those, and that is available at 250 rupees. That is what the technology low cost I'm saying. Things are, I mean, all those tools are very much available, being delivered to your home. It doesn't even go to the shop. You order that, it will be delivered to your home. That is the kind of technology which is available. So ease of access is one reason. And working model. Now what we have been seeing for the last 1 year or so, the remote working. We say we have adopted to the remote working. What way we are adopting? Is it they've installed it Zoom or installed the team or installed the BlueJeans? Is it that? Or beyond that, I'm taking care of the protection of infrastructure, how the communication is happening. The employee who's working from a remote, is his router protected? I can't ensure that. I can ensure protection from my company, from my office where I am working, but the employees are working from different spots. And what kind of protection I can give? Protection to my server I can give, but not to the credentials what they'll be using through their respective routers. Is it not? That is enough for anyone to hack. It's like they are logging in the name of employee. Once they get the credentials, it's like taking over the name. We call it an account takeover, and just anytime they can hack it. And you have multiple data access requirements. And the same time, the same server, there are multiple people accessing from different locations. And I can't keep on browsing through the IP. We call it as IP configuration, where we hard code saying that no, I'll probably put a firewall saying that privileged IPs only can access. Okay, that I can't define, because the employee is not staying at one place. Probably someone might be moving from different places. I need to provide an access once he provides a request. So it happens so fast, it becomes like I can't adapt my remote working model as per this. And this we never expected maybe 5-10 years back. Otherwise, we would have prepared. But this has happened. That's where we are saying investing is happening in one time. Risk is happening in 5 times of that. Okay. And seamless data sharing. As we share the regular normal message like WhatsApp and all, how many times we would have controlled the mail being sent to an employee, whether it is being restricted to only that end, or whether does it carry any metadata when it is forwarded to any another employee or to any other client and all. Okay. Storage capacity, as we keep on taking more and more data, are we, Charan sir also was mentioning about accessing, having more and more data. Having more and more data is like you are creating more and more, double the risk. Okay, it's not about data redundancy or overflow, whatever we speak in technical terms, but more data, you're probably throwing up the important data into such areas where it is exposed to risk. That is what happened. Okay. And local server, remote server, of course, cloud is as much protected that I can say, going by the firewalls and kind of protection what they have. Otherwise, probably AWS and all will not be so successful. Otherwise, without a kind of protection. As I said, it's not about the protection of the server. It's about the protection of the credentials, about the way you are accessing those things. Okay.
Yeah, Vijay, 1 minute, Vijay. Yeah, 1 minute, Vijay. So we said working model. Can just go back to the earlier slide, working model.
Yes.
Yes. We all know that we are now conducting a session here. I can open the OBS software. And whatever is going on the screen, behind the screen it will record. And from there, I can connect to the YouTube and take it live to n number of people. There may be a policy in the institute that this should be telecasted by only ICAI. But that can be breached. The policy can be breached by myself, wherein I can open an OBS software and record all this and give a YouTube link, and I can give it to a Pakistani or someone else. And my board meetings are live given there. And I say, my policy says all the assets should be protected. Now, that is a very broad political statement you made it. Now, what is the procedure you have put in place to ensure that the closed room discussions are not moving out? Now, do you say that the system through which someone is participating in the group meetings, do you find out what are all the programs running there? Will you ensure, the ICAI, while they are conducting the exam, while they are conducting the online exam, they ensure that except the online exam portal, nothing else should be opened. And they have that control. Now, how many corporates have such kind of thing while they are talking about this multi-locational working, wherein they ensure that only the platform, like say, if my system should work only with SAP and nothing else should be there. Yes, even if it is there, if someone is trying to open, it should not allow to open any other program. Like even the ICAI exam module, online exam module, when you're writing an exam, when you try to minimize, the total exam portal gets vanished. Now, do we have such kind of controls? ICAI has a policy and there is a procedure, rule, method in place. In the same way I'm saying, we have seen so many cut copy paste of policies, but it is only cut copy paste of policies, but they doesn't give rise to standard operating rules, methods, and procedures. In the same way, when you talk about the capacity storage and capacity management, how much of the data that is stored remote and cold storage things, cloud storage things, that how much they are protected, in where they are protected, in which countries they are protected, in who is accessing those things. That these are all the questions as a ESA auditor or as a chartered accountant. We need to raise these questions, because when the board of directors, they are saying I am complying with these things, when they say that, it is our responsibility to ask them to give an audit trail for the policies what they are trying to maintain. Yes, sir. We can move on to the next thing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. There are complex codes here, increased customization to the organization requirements. Today, because of the laxity or because of the luxury things that are going on, they want everything at ease of doing things. When you say ease of doing things, like say for example, the MCA portal will validate the DIN number through a PAN number database. Now it's an ease of doing business. Now when the or an other data is coming into, where somewhere, someplace you wanted to have a drop-down facility, or you want to have a pop-up information coming into your system for ease of doing things, whether the data which is flowing from the outside system, the APIs, structures and all, is it well connected to it? Otherwise, for the ease of business, you say, yes, you give this, you give that. Sometimes you can see a thing, a program, you can write it in Excel and port it to the Tally, and it can generate books of accounts in no time. 10,000 or 20,000 lines of bank statement, you code it as to debit what, credit what, and in one second of time, the books of accounts are ready in Tally. Now, if that is the case, what are all the security features that it has? Now, is it taking only the data, or is it also taking the viruses into it, or any malicious codes, or also is it taking it? There's so many complex things which are there, which as an auditor, I don't say that an auditor needs to have a full domain knowledge of technology. If that is the case, we would have become an engineers there. I have not become an engineer because I'm very poor in mathematics, and the only option available in those days is only this chartered accountancy. Because I am poor in maths, I have come to the chartered accountancy. In that case, the chartered accountants are not great in mathematics and softwares. We can't expect that also. That's not our domain. But at least I need to have a professional skepticism to understand, is there something goes on into 0 and 1 is written as a number. So in what case, how does the system react? We need to look into those things. And then negligence. Negligence, today's human tendency, the generation effect, they want everything at free of cost and with the ease of doing. And this and the complex hierarchies, lack of awareness it's opening the doors for a lot of risks. And there are so many things. We are running short of time. We'll quickly move into the most important things of preventive procedures. Yes, sir. So let's have a quick question. Please log into menti.com again. I beg you all to kindly log into menti.com and enter the code 21430085. So how often does the process to identify access technology risks should occur within any organization? Is it a continue? Is it annually? Is it not required or can't say? Whatever it is, I beg you to make it interactive. Kindly visit menti.com, enter code 21430085. This will make us to understand how vigilant we need to be whenever there is a new software being introduced, whenever there is a new patch being introduced, whenever a new update is introduced, whenever we are renewing the AMC. At what point of time, what questions we need to ask, and what are all the technologies we are taking into account, and what are all the instruments that are getting connected to our network for ease of doing businesses. Now, in those cases, how often we need to review? Who has to review? So I request again, please be patient enough to kindly respond, which will motivate us to move forward.
So we'll have another just 10, 20 seconds for this. And
Please, go on, please. So please visit menti.com and enter 21430085. How often does the process to identify and assess technology risks should occur within any organization?
another 10 seconds, I'll be displaying the results.
This is very important to have a consciousness on, because we have said data is oil now, and whatever we are talking now is getting converted into data. Now I'm making a presentation here is getting recorded as 10 and 01 only. Now in this process, a lot of packets are being moved from one place to the another. So in that case, what risks are there, and how do we assess these? And every day there is a development. Every day we download a lot of apps.
So I'll be displaying the results, sir, shortly. Just a second. So this is what it's good that people are agreeing that the process has to be continually, and very good enough that not required, as no one has been opted, and can't say has not been on. So it's really good to have this kind of awareness, saying that this process has to be a continuous process. Yeah. Thank you for all voting. We'll go back to our presentation.
As rightly said, there needs to be a policy. Now, if you say that, yes, sir, if you say that there needs to be a continuous evaluation, now that should be a policy. That should be a policy that there needs to be a continuous review of the policies, and then when you review the continuous policies, and there needs to be the moment a policy is changed, the standard operating procedures also keep changing, and those to be monitored. I'll come back how that needs to be monitored, but the impact of the direct effects or impacts of these attacks cyber attacks are going to have a direct cost and opportunity cost of the data lost. To build it takes time, and the financial information like bank accounts and all are compromised. It's a huge loss, and there's a loss of money, disruption in business activities. Repairing or rectification or correction cost is huge. It's a butterfly effect. One leads to the another, and other leads to the another, and it has a cumulative effect wherein the total system may collapse like a building like a cards. Yeah. Next, sir. So there are indirect effects. There are direct effects. Again, reputation risks are there, where the customers will lock out, saying that if Swiggy, Zomato and all, they are selling our tastes and preferences. If I keep placing orders from one particular restaurant or one particular thing, then Zomato is able to predict what I'm going to eat on a particular date. My taste and preferences are taken care. And if Ola and Uber, they are able to know where I'm going and enjoying, then that's going to compromise. And then if something happens, they're going to lose the customer's contract, disowning the brand by the employees, loss of investors and various stakeholder trust, and so on and so on. Yes, sir. Next, please. Then you have regulatory and legal risks. This is huge one. We have seen many times the stakeholders filing cases on the people where they have compromised, like the banks are attacked for when there are loss in their personal data, they file criminal cases on that, and heavy penalties. That's what we have seen. That's 2011 regulations. Civil suits are more costly, and then legal complications at individual capacity, and cyclical impact due to investigation of historical data, and so on and so on. Yeah, next please. And then information leakage for cyber attack. Again, IP content, email communication, information leakage of employees, vendors, customers, competitors, and then leakage of historical data, whatnot. The next one, sir. So these are all the indirect effects which are going to have, and hence, sir was also the Charanjit Atra sir was also talking about earlier slide, please. Atra sir was also talking about whether your investments. Next slide, sir. Next slide, sir. Yes, sir. So, sir was asking about Charanjit Atra sir was asking about like accounting standards and all. Can we measure the impact of it? Like, say, for example, we as a professionals, financial professionals, consider possibility to quantify the financial risk of an organization for not complying with required information security standards. Do you, as a financial professional, consider the possibility to quantify? Let us see how it is. See, as we all know, by following accounting standards, we develop an accounting policies which has to be disclosed, and using the accounting policies, the monetary values and the elements of the financial statements needs to be disclosed in the financial statements, which is going to give a fair presentation of the picture of the organization to the stakeholders. Similarly, there are so many information technology related standards which the act itself is saying that I need to comply to it. Now, like when I follow the accounting standards and accordingly I am able to give a fair picture to the stakeholders, is it possible? We need to dwell on this. Is it possible, considering the growing risks of IT risks and cyber risks, do you think that it is time for government or regulators to come forward for measuring and quantifying the risks of organization based on the information technology, information security standards, and based on the preventive steps that are presently followed in a corporate? Is it possible to quantify? This is what actually we need to dwell now. We need to move forward so that the stakeholder will be in a position to understand the money what I have invested in a company, how far is it safe, and that's where the SEBI has come out with the corporate governance and all. But we are not trying to quantify those things into a number form. So let's see how we can answer a question to this. Yes, sir. Yeah. Kindly bear with us and kindly move on to menti.com again and enter the code 47779468 to answer these questions, please. If financial risks for non-compliance of IT protection measurable and quantifiable. So the one question here you have under menti.com, enter code 47779468. Is financial risk for non-compliance of IT protection measurable and quantifiable? Or go back to the question. Yeah. If quantifiable, what parameters are required? Is it an insurance vendor estimate you want to quantify, or a value suggested by a cyber expert as a CISO officer, or using generic valuation method for data, reputation, or business lost, or you can't say anything on this? We are trying to measure and quantify. As we have understood, like the accounting standards, we measure and quantify the business transactions. Is it possible to have a system to measure and quantify? And based on that, we'll move forward as to how we can achieve this.
We'll have another 20 seconds, sir, now that the replies are coming in.
Yeah. So it's again, I say the importance of this is, earlier we have understood how often we should do it. Earlier we have understood who should do it. Now let us try to understand. Now when you are trying to say that you need to quantify, when you need to invest, if I have to invest, I need to know the break-even point. I need to know the payback period. I need to know whether this investment is going to protect or not. So for that purpose, what value should I take so that I can make a better judgment of how much I need to invest,
At this point of time, I would like to also add that many people are pursuing this valuation course and they have come up with all those expertise. So how about focusing on this area as well? Once it opens, obviously being in the lead, how about grabbing this opportunity where we can value such things? And this is one area which is going to definitely open up, if not now, down the lane. So these are the things what probably we just thought using this session we'll try to pass on. So let me just share the results in a second. Is it visible, sir? Or the results are visible?
Yeah. It's blank screen is there. It'll come. I think taking time.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah.
Let me just share the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it has come now. Yes.
almost like 60% are saying it is quantifiable, measurable,
Yes,
and
it is
quantifiable.
quantified. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, fair enough. So let's see the other question as well. What parameters are required?
Yeah. I think they have to
We'll
give an
take-
answer to this. Yeah.
Yeah, just 10 seconds. We'll wait
Yeah.
and we'll proceed.
Yes. Yes, it says. Yeah.
Yeah. So let the voting go on. So we'll proceed with the presentation.
Yeah. Yes.
So I probably stop after 30 seconds so that we have something. We'll proceed with
Right.
our
Yeah.
presentation.
Yes. So next comes the regulatory governance and compliance. Should never go wrong because it is a mandatory compliance requirements. It is a mandatory requirements. We should never go wrong here. And what are all those are the relevant Information Technology Act, which I have already shown to you, and relevant circulars of RBI. We have a list. We'll go into that. We have SEBI notifications on cyber security and information technology and the corporate tax and the Companies Act 134(5), which is indirectly referring to the Information Technology Act rules and regulations, and hence it is not the SEBI guidance for the topmost listed 1,000 high capitalization companies, but also all the companies looking at the 2011 circular, almost all the companies, firms, everything comes into it. Then relevant notifications for IRDA will give the relevant guidelines of certain relevant notifications of Gazette of Ministry of Information Technologies also are there. Let's go into those details. We'll discuss now. And these are all the regulatory compliances for RBI. Because banking, we know, we only think that it is a banking, but mind it, RBI is not only for the banking. Many of us are auditors for the NBFCs, housing finance companies, and there are so many companies coming now. Fintech companies are coming in, and that's a fantastic opportunity wherein the CISA auditors needs to certify the fintech and NBFC companies information security assets. That's a fantastic area which we need to explore, and it's readily available. We can immediately tap and get money onto that. And these are all the information security incentives which will give initiatives which will give a lot of work to the chartered accountants. And next, sir.
Yeah, and at this point of view, also one notification issued in October 2017 where they made it mandatory for tech-based NBFCs, not only fintechs, all those tech-based NBFCs where they have converted all the certificate of incorporations into in-principle certificates, and have asked them to produce the systems audit certificate. Then only they will be kind of making it a permanent, and that is again mandated. Like every 2 years, they have to undergo this. So these are the opportunities what we are speaking about.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, next, sir. You want to go back to that answers response, or we'll continue this? We'll continue.
Yeah, let me just disclose, like many of the people, they have suggested a cyber security expert valuation, and 50% of the people, they said a generic valuation method is enough. Fair enough, considering the present, without any procedures or policies laid down by regulators. I think the only way is probably, at least, if not anything, if not nil valuation, there is some valuation. So we do concur with both opinions, wherein CISO or even if it is general valuation, that's fair enough. Yeah. So let's proceed.
Okay. Yeah. We'll go back to the right. Next one is regulatory compliances, SEBI and ROC. Yes, we have already touched upon. I am just giving the we are giving the annual system audit of DCP and DR. annual system audit of brokers, stockbrokers, and trading members, annual system audit of exchanges. Now, annual system of framework of mutual funds, AMC, SEBI, and these are all which are available. The trading members of national commodity derivatives and all. Now it is time that we need to explore all those. We need to spread our wings and then use our whatever PRs and then try to compete and get into this, because there are very limited people into this because of ignorance or whatever. And it's high time, let us move forward with this. And I also take an opportunity to request the ICAI to make it more aware to the regulators and to the members that our members can do much more better job in these areas. Yes, sir. Next one. Next slide, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So similarly, IRDA is there. Next, sir. So we are running short of time. We are left with last 10 minutes. Yes. Next, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are regulatory compliances, and this is a big scope. There's very big scope for the chartered accountants here, ICAI and ISACA both. And who are all getting covered here? All listed public companies, private companies, subject to turnover and borrowing limits, and various guidance notes and auditing standards, guidelines are all issued here. Guidance on internal financial controls with respect. And remember 24th March 2021, there was an excellent circular came for asking for the audit trail, and that's going to be a fantastic opportunity to chartered accountants. Without this, we can't do it. And anyhow, we are going to share this. We'll just move on fast. These are all regulatory compliances, which is coming under the objective 1 we are. And these are all furthermore. Yes, sir. Next, we'll move on fast. Yeah.
We'll skip the
So
question.
we'll cover this, sir.
We'll skip this part.
Suggest measures quantifying the mandatory.
Yeah, probably we'll skip this. We'll skip this and keep it at the end, depending on the time. So we'll proceed further, sir.
Yeah, right. So survey results, facts and predictions, I think you can cover, Vijay, sir.
Yes, sir. So friends, I mean, so far we have seen a awareness or so-called awareness in terms of what regulatory was speaking, or what in terms of those negligences issues or cyber security issues, what we have seen. So if not enough, these are the few facts and predictions. What it is published by ISACA. I've just mentioned the source also here. And these are the risks what they have predicted. It was predicted by not any normal people. These are all 7,400 IT audit and risk leader professionals. At one particular point of time, they predicted this, and these are the survey results what they have presented. Considering the rating of 1 to 10, high, cyber breach, confidentiality, privacy, regulatory compliance. You can see these 3 are the top, which we've been speaking for the last 1 hour or so. Okay, but there are again another survey results which is published based on the idea of digital leader. Digital leader is nothing but those who are into technology, who understand the technology, and those normal organizations which are not into it's like conservative, they are not into technology. And this is what the understanding what they have. How often does the process to identify and assess technology occur within an organization? IT people, they said 50%, and other than that, you can see the kind of, it's like 25% of the criteria is being met when it comes to risk awareness or risk assessment. Okay, these are the 2 presentations which, as I said, we'll be sharing this presentation as well. And considering this COVID, how is the business conditions are adjusted? Okay, so you can see other organizations which are not into technology, they could adjust only 34%. 66% are not in a position to adjust to the kind of conditions what we have, so-called remote working and all. Okay, so these are the interesting facts which is like a learning for us going forward how we should proceed further. And this is another published report based on the industry segment. You have consumer packaged goods, energy, financial sector, healthcare, manufacturing. You can see top confidentiality and privacy issues are there in the financial services, healthcare. This is one what we have seen recently, one case. Okay, you can see the top, all those 3 affecting majority of the industries. And this is where we need to think, probably as an advisors or the management heads, what kind of investment I shall be doing into those technology protections, risk protections and all. Okay, that is about the few facts and all. probably you can go through leisure in while we share this presentation. And moving forward, we'll take up few learnings as well, because so far we have seen awareness. So we'll try to have what kind of learning. So we have published certain case studies taken from various sources, which is also mentioned in the bottom of the screen from where we have taken these sources. So this also will not get into case study, what kind of effects, what it had on the system, what kind of losses. What interesting case, what we can take is, as you can see, this is not just about banking. There is one banking, you have another software company which has faced this issue. We have a manufacturing company which has faced an issue. You have a retail sector. We have restaurant, hospitality, and more interestingly, these are the three latest cases what we have come across. Citibank fined $400 million for the sake of non-complying with the governance controls. Okay, and you would have come across this news a couple of days back, Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank, for not complying with the cyber security frameworks. Last year it was Corporation Bank, same penalty. So even after 1 year, this happened exactly in May 2020, Corporation Bank. Even after 1 year, if a bank is penalized for the same cause, now we can say what kind of advisory role or what kind of initiation, what kind of learning what they have taken from the existing cases. This is what. Okay, common failures, which is very much common. It happens throughout these major four sectors, though they say password protection. See, we come across various systems audit and all. We see board saying that we have this policy published, we have everything in sequence. But when you practically see how come the policy has been made into objects in terms of procedure or what kind of events, we see hardly 20% of the policy being implemented. So it's not about policy. We are there not only because when we speak about review as an auditor, it's pre-implementation, during implementation and post implementation. It has to be involved in all the three areas, and that this is where we've been stressing. These are the opportunities what we can grab upon, and no best who is supported with the by the regulator in terms of integrity or all those things. We can take up these kind of so a couple of failures what we have listed down could be carelessly handling data, locking knowledge of cyber security, outage. You can just list down various things. And now let's come back to one important aspect of company values versus investment in IT. Okay. And probably if Premna sir is there, he can take up. Otherwise, what he'll do is...
And you can continue.
See,
You can, we are left
ratios, yeah,
left with 3 minutes. Yeah.
Worked out based on the investment in IT pulled out from the balance sheet. Okay, not actual investment what we have seen. So if only that regulatory makes it mandatory, asking to comply and disclose what kind of investment you made in IT risk prevention. That's where we will see the actual picture. Even otherwise also, the kind of investment what a software company has made, comparatively, it's much less other industries what they've made in the respective investment and all. Okay. So going forward,
this is what CA Charanjit Attrasar was talking about. How much of investments are you making in? This is what the SBI CFO was talking about. The investments that are made and how much it is getting protected is what raised by rightly raised by the SBI CFO, sir. Yes, sir. You can continue, sir.
So a couple of common cyber mistakes. So we can just skip on this, skip this point as well, which is published by KPMG. So we have just taken that and mentioned this. Yeah. And of course, penalties. And as we tagline this as a fancy name, painful. And pain is so high than what we, what kind of the impact of penalties and all. Okay, we are still seeing a shorter kind of penalties, 1 lakh, 5 lakh, but doesn't look like bigger one. But the cyclical impact, what those things will have on the reputation of the company or reputation of the person who is handling the management are going to be even more disastrous. Okay, so we have listed down a couple of penal clauses under various sections of ICAI, sections of 13 and also RBI 47A1C. Under this section, they have penalized Corporation Bank and the non-market bank. Under this particular 47A1C, they penalized 1 crore each. And of course, we have listed down a couple of cyber security policies. You can just rush this. And what we have done is at the end of this, I've listed down a couple of types of security policies and also the important technology risk issues and including definitions. As a CA, I can probably have a review of this, which will be helping us in drafting policy, also probably advising the management on this. Okay, sir. Sir, please take over, Premna, sir.
Within the short time, we were trying to talk about only three important things, as I have said already, the awareness, and then learning and preparedness is what the three objectives with which we have started. And I think you have, finally, you can have one question so that we can close, Vijay.
That question, please. Yes.
Yeah. Finally, kindly cooperate and answer one last question so that we can close this.
Yeah, let me display the question, sir, so that the code and accordingly they can respond. Yeah, this is what the Menti code, sir. Kindly note, kindly visit the same menti.com, and the code is 42, 40, and 57. So meanwhile, let me publish the presentation.
Finally, as everyone has agreed that we need to have a continuous updation of the rules and regulations, and we need to understand the technology, because if you are not understanding the technology and not implementing it, we are not moving forward. And at the same time, we need to understand various risk related issues, and we should be in a position to quantify the risk related issues, and accordingly we need to move forward. So you can answer these questions, please. Menti.com, 42, 40, and 57 code. Would you suggest such measuring and quantifying as a regulatory or mandatory for measuring, so that we are aware of controlling it? Are you, as a financial consultant of an organization or a head of organization, prepared if government or regulator makes it mandatory requirement within next 1 year? Are we prepared to measure and quantify and publish anything? Is it possible to, so that if I know what is the risk today, if I am not wearing a mask and not washing my hands and not maintaining a physical distance, if I know what it is, I will definitely follow that. In the same way, if I am able to understand, I am well prepared. So from that point of view, these questions are raised. Kindly help us to answer this so that we can move on now. These presentations will be shared to the committee, where a small tinkering is required in this. And if there are any question and answers, we'll also put those question and answers which are not answered live here. And then we'll circulate this presentation. If there are answers are there, then we can hand it over.
Yeah, let me just publish the results, sir, so that, so that people can also have the feel about the replies what they got. So when it comes to, would you suggest measuring and quantifying as a recommendatory and mandatory? We have a good number of percentage recommending it as a mandatory. And going to the next question, equally people say they are prepared. Good that they are prepared for the opportunity, and I also wish they are equipped with while preparing themselves. Okay, so we'll stop the sharing, sir, as of now. And
Thank you very much for your patient listening and giving us a fantastic opportunity.
Thank you all. Thank you for staying with us. Over to you, Govinder Singh, sir, please.
Thank you, sir, for such an insightful session and giving us the insights on the topic. It's really an eye opener for all of us. And as there is an old saying that says, even walls have ear. I think in today's discussion we have learned, what it actually meant. And on a lighter note, I didn't hack your system in the initial part of the presentation to know what you are. Just that it's close to my heart, so I could relate to this. All of us, as you know, are very closely related to data. All of the chartered accountants are very closely related to data, and we hold the data on behalf of the client as well. So the risks that you have explained are very, very important for us. And as you rightly said, that there is no scope for negligence. As the regulatory and the penal provisions are such that it could have very cascading effects on us. So, despite it requires investment, but at the same time, cybersecurity requires a mindset, to ensure that we are having a secure data network. And as we move into the cybersecurity arena, I'm sure that this opens up a lot of opportunities for our fraternity, and we can be greatly benefited by these opportunities. So, with that, I think I would like to take up the questions that the guests would have asked, the audience would have asked. So, one question that came to my mind was while we were discussing this, that uh, there are a lot of MSMEs that always want to invest into cybersecurity, but because of shortage of funds or because of other priorities, because obviously they are having juggling and multiple priorities at the same time, they sometimes are not able to achieve what they actually want to. While there is an intent, but they are not actually able to achieve. So, how should they go about it? How should they go about implementing the cyber governance framework? What would be the best suited scenario as per you?
See, basically, when we speak about the protection, it doesn't have to be always IT tools or some kind of costly firewalls and all. Even if a constant review saying what is the traffic flow, what has been the last month, what kind of additional attempts have happened, probably that doesn't require much kind of investment. So a consistent monitoring, which is a low cost activity, at least by that way they are reviewing and they are preventing. They have historical data. Depending on that, they can probably think, considering the traffic, what they are getting hits to the server, they can, whether it requires any kind of investment or kind of. So consistent review can be a low cost affair which can be continued, which will very much help SMEs kind of thing. So that's what we've been telling also. Awareness training, a consistent review, a broader perspective in terms of understanding these things. That should be taking care of at least 60 to 70% of the risk. It doesn't require any kind of huge kind of investment also.
One more thing is, if community way of see a lot of small and medium can come forward, and what is that? What is the difficulty for you now? You have a cloud storage is a difficult for you. Is application is a problem for you? Is application problem? Is communicating apps is problem for you? Now instead 10 people having 10 different databases and apps, why can't you as a community come forward? Like agriculturists have a community. Now why can't the small and medium come forward and have a community based infrastructure for the IT, so that that community, one single place is monitored by an expert for the compliances, instead of 10 different people having 10 different servers and 10 different people trying to run here and there. Your cost is very much saved, and at the same time the clouds facilities have, many of them have a feeling that the clouds are not safe. I say damn sure that no cloud system is hacked as of now, and we are privileged, like me and Vijay are privileged to have an audit of cloud system. Like we have seen Control X and certain things, and they are so much secured, even an ant can't enter into it. And when that is a kind of thing and a cheap way of storing it, why can't people come forward and do it? And that's what, the ICAI is also coming out with a tool for the small and medium chartered accountants, a centralized location. Like if I want to have a audit tool, it will cost around 2 lakhs per user. Now ICAI is, I think I've seen somewhere a request proposal has come for that, which is going to change the audit, the way in which we do the audit. More than that, the maturity model for auditing has also been released now. Now, these things considering, every individual CA cannot afford it. The community way, they can do it. I think I've answered it.
So I think in possible
Yeah.
take much of questions, but looking at from the audience, it's very encouraging to see that each and every member has taken it in the right spirit, and they are expecting another session, so that they can further gain and enhance their knowledge around it. So thank you, Sir Prem Sir and Vijayji, for such an insightful session. Uh, now,
Sure, we would certainly hold another session on this topic, a topic which has been liked by the membership and they want to have more knowledge in this. So, Mr. Premnath will request you to come for a repeat of this session so that people go home more enlightened, putting at rest all their doubts that would have sprung in. A great session indeed. Thank you so much. Over to Gurvinderji.
now to conclude, I would like to state that change is the end result of all the true learnings. I hope all the participants and the audience would echo with me that it was quite an insightful session, deliberating all the topics in detail. Now to conclude, I would invite Vice Chairman of Yamunanagar branch of NIRC, CA Anuj Jindal ji, for vote of thanks. Over to you.
Thank you.
Anuj Jindal ji.
I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you, Surendraji. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity of casting the vote of thanks of this webinar. First of all, I would like to thank CA Charanjot Nandaji, pillars of our institutes and professions, chairman of committee of management accounting, and man of iron from Yamunanagar. Thank you so much, sir, for providing such a wonderful, knowledgeable sessions. Then I would also like to thank CA Charanjit Atraji, CFO, SBI, our keynote speaker of today webinar, CA Prem Nath ji and K. Vijay Srinivasan ji, for their wonderful and knowledgeable sessions. Thank you so much, sir, and hopefully we will get this kind of sessions in future also. In the last, I also thank CA Nand Kishore ji, Vice Chairman of Committee of Management Accountings, for their valuable session. I also thanks all the members and audience who has joined us and sparing their valuable time for this webinar. Thank you so much. And I also thank you all the technical staff who are making this session wonderful and successful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gurvinder ji. Over to you, Gurvinder.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. And I would also like to thank Committee of Management Accounting for hosting such a wonderful session. I would request all the participants to stay connected with this Committee of Management Accounting for more such insightful sessions. Nanda sir, you want to close on the meeting by a few words?
Sure, sir. It was really a great session. Looking forward to such enriching sessions in future also. Thanks all for participating. Let us go back home to our parents, our spouse, our children. It was a great session of 2 hours. So giving a great gratitude to all who have attended, right from the speakers, Mr. Vijay Srinivas, Mr. Premlal, Mr. Charanjit Atra, who was the CFO of State Bank of India, the chairman of Yamunanagar branch, Mr. Amit, Secretary Mr. Sumit, the Vice Chairman Mr. Anuj Jindal, Mr. Gurvinder Singh for very efficiently moderating this program, the entire committee, and all members who are sitting home so late to go home more enlightened. Ladies and gentlemen, please wait for next Friday to have even a more exciting session. We are there to serve you and we are passionate in serving you. If you want programs on certain topics, please do communicate to us. We'll ensure that you have the topic of your choice at your doorsteps. Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Namaste. Namaste. Namaste all. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you.